Hi, I'm Vaishali Dinakaran. On the occasion of the launch of the Jaguar I-PACE in India, we're going to be taking a look at the legacy of performance the Jaguar has built in racing over the past 72 years. Yes, it was 72 years ago, back in 1949, that the Jaguar XK120, in only its second year of production, won the very first race it ever competed in. It was merely the beginning of a long and illustrious association with motorsport. 1 year later, the Jaguar XK120 became a more regular feature at racetracks around the world. In 1951, it won the legendary 24 Hours of Le Mans. After briefly dabbling in Formula One between 2000 and 2004, Jaguar finally made its return to top-tier racing with the ABB FIA Formula E Championship in 2016 with Season 3. Today we've got with us James Barclay, team principal of Jaguar Racing, to tell us about the world of electric car racing, the manufacturer's legacy in motorsport, and the symbiotic relationship between Jaguar's racing and production car arms.
Hi, it's great to be with you today. Thanks so much for having me and having the opportunity to tell you a little bit more around Jaguar Racing and our history in Formula E so far. So yes, we returned to motor racing after a 12-year gap after Formula One. And for us, it was about returning Jaguar to motor racing, but not for any reason. It had to be for the right reason. And we have, there's never been a more exciting time than right now as far as we were concerned. We could see the future is going towards electrification. Electric mobility is going to play a critical role in the future, but also the importance of increasing sustainability and finding a great way to promote our electric future. So the FIA Formula E Championship, as you said, we started in season 3. We could see this championship was really going to grow and get a lot of interest and awareness around the world. And we were the first premium manufacturer to commit to Formula E. And it's incredible. In the 4 years we've been competing in the championship, it's gone from strength to strength. We have now the best lineup of manufacturers in any other championship in the world. 9 OEMs in total, 12 teams, 24 fully professional racing drivers. It's an incredible, if you like, set of drivers, teams, manufacturers that makes it the most competitive form of racing in the world as well. And for us, it's been a great journey. In that 4 years, we've seen the championship now move to a world championship. And this year is the first year we're at world championship. But also Formula E is now the first ever net certified zero carbon sport since inception. Not just the first motorsport, the first ever sport. So again, Formula E really kind of pioneering, breaking the rule book and showing that not only can we make a fantastic sport, but at the same time, it's a global platform that promotes the benefits of sustainability and zero emissions mobility, but also motorsport as well.
Okay. Since you've already given us an overview of what it's been like for Jaguar over the last 4 years in a fairly nascent form of racing, let me ask you what the biggest lessons you think Jaguar has learned over the past 4 years in the sport.
Yeah, that's a really good question. After a long gap from racing, we really had to build up a team from scratch again, and that was about getting the right engineers, the right mechanics, and importantly, the right drivers together to be able to compete at the front end of this very, very competitive championship. And I'm pleased to say, in 4 years, we've absolutely kind of every season we've taken a step forward. We very much have a continuous improvement mindset and methodology within the team. And in that period, we now are a team that can fight for podiums and wins. We have 2 pole positions, 2 race wins, 6 podiums, 3 fastest laps to our name. And genuinely, we are one of the front-running teams in this incredibly competitive formula. So from that perspective, we've learned how to race again, and now we've learned how to win again. And we've never been hungrier, though. We really are hungry for more, and it's about striving for championship success now. For us this year as well, really excitedly, we have a new driver that joins us, Sam Bird. Sam has won a Formula E race in every year since the start of the championship. He joins Mitch Evans, who obviously has been on that journey with us right from the start. And Mitch is now an absolute proven front runner in Formula E. His dominant win in Mexico City last year, his fantastic qualifying performances have marked him out as a star. And it's great to have Sam join Mitch in what is now our most competitive lineup we've ever had in terms of drivers. So we're super excited for the year ahead. And I think if I look back at the last 4 years, to your question, we've really learned to win again. And now it's about learning to win regularly, to not only win, fight for points, fight for podiums, and ultimately try and fight for championships as well.
Okay. And while the Formula E team might be still learning to win regularly, Jaguar has such an illustrious and successful career in motorsport, given the fact that its internal combustion engines have a proven record in the sport. What lessons have carried over from ICE sport into your Formula E team?
Well, yeah, it's a really good question. There are a lot of similarities. At the end of the day, it's sport, right? It's motorsport, and you have to be the best team on the day, and you have to do that consistently to be successful. I think from our perspective, though, looking back in our history, one of the things which myself and the rest of the team are really passionate about is we have an incredible, illustrious history. Cars like the C-Type, the first ever car to use disc brakes that won Le Mans, and now we have that on every production car in the world, pretty much. Cars like the D-Type, incredibly iconic designs, a car that was so successful. In fact, in 1957, it was first, second, third, fourth, and sixth at Le Mans. So we have this incredible history with these amazing cars. And for us, it's about being responsible for writing that next chapter of success. So from a brand point of view, we very much take a lot of responsibility for that. We want to write that next chapter of this incredible company's history in racing. But at the same time, we can absolutely learn from, if you like, the sporting side of ICE engines. But when it comes to technology, it is unique. We are racing electric cars, which 5 years ago, there was no form of racing category that had that raced electric vehicles. Now we're starting our seventh season, and we are in the time where we are pushing the boundaries of this technology to optimize performance, whether that be efficiency, whether that be outright performance. So not at the same time do we have a really kind of credible sport, but we're actually really kind of pioneering this technology, and that is quite unique. We are finding new things which drive performance forward, which aren't necessarily relevant to an ICE engine car. But importantly, they're really relevant for our consumers and for audiences in the future who'll be driving electric vehicles. And Formula E is really kind of paving the way for that.
Okay, let's talk a little bit more about that because you've already told us that racing helps develop technology, and this technology is something that you're going to be using in your road cars. So tell us a little bit about the symbiotic relationship between the production car arm and the race car department.
Yeah, absolutely. And you would have heard it a lot in racing before, in the past. There's where people talk about the technology transfer, but in the case of Formula E, it really is relevant because, as I said, we're taking electric vehicle powertrains, we're doing with them that's never been done before. We're pushing them to the limit of performance. We're maximizing what we're asking from the battery, for example, in race environments. So at the same time, we're learning and we're developing the powertrain. So whether that be the design of the powertrain, the materials of the powertrain, how we manage our software and coding to optimize the performance. A Formula E race car is a little bit like your iPhone. We can update the performance by updating the software. You don't always have to change the hardware. Improve performance, and there's some great examples already in the 4 years we've been back in racing in Formula E that has had benefit to our consumers. And a great example is with the Jaguar I-PACE. Obviously, a world-renowned product now, over 80 global awards, including World Car of the Year. And we were able, with our Formula E program, to help contribute to that by the learnings we have of pushing the battery technology to the limit, pushing the battery temperature to the limit, and the overall powertrain. We were able to introduce a software update to the I-PACE, which has given it an additional 20 kilometers of range on a full charge. And that's come through our experience and our knowledge and our learning in motor racing and Formula E, where we've been pushing the boundaries of the technology. So that's a great example of a benefit that's been transferred through to our customers from racing. But at the same time, there's some other fantastic examples. And one that we have introduced this year is we are using in the driver's seat of the race car a material called type fiber. It's a sustainable material, and we're basically putting the material through its paces and really pushing it to the limit in terms of durability, comfort, and the drivers are literally testing that material now before potentially introducing that into future Jaguar road cars. So there's a great example of not only is it on the technology side, it's on the materials and the sustainability side, which is what we're proving. It's not always, though, just a transfer from racetrack to road. Actually, sometimes it's the other way around, though, as well. And we use, for example, in the race team, our digital vision technology. So this is the same technology that you have in the Jaguar I-PACE. It's the camera technology that looks at the road signs, for example, and tells you of an upcoming speed limit, that if there's a speed restricted area that you're entering into. We use that same technology to monitor our competitor activity on track. And that allows us to tell us what is basically happening with competitors around us. Do we need to be worried about that car trying to overtake us, or are we about to come up on another car and be able to overtake them? So we use that technology to help us from a strategy point of view that can be the difference between winning and losing on a day. And that's the same technology that we have in our Jaguar I-PACE. And we're really fortunate. We have our Gaydon Technology Centre just down the road from the race team, and we have the ability to tap into that incredible wealth of knowledge and expertise that our engineers at Jaguar have to make the race team go faster as well. So it's a really symbiotic two-way street.
Okay. And you've talked about how significant the Formula E Championship has been to developing technology. Could you also tell us a little bit more about perhaps the I-PACE trophy and how that's impacted the I-PACE road car?
Yeah, that's something we're very proud of. We created the Jaguar I-PACE trophy, which is now finished, but we created the first ever battery electric racing championship for a production car. And we took the standard Jaguar I-PACE. It's 90 kilowatt hour battery. It's the same electric motor, same inverters in the front and the back, the same aluminium architecture. We turned that into a racing car, and we raced the Jaguar I-PACE for 2 seasons around the world. And it was a great test bed for the technology. So a lot of things I talked about also have come through that experience learning by racing the I-PACE. But what it did show is that as a core car that you can buy in the showroom, just how capable it is. And it still remains today the only electric car that's been turned into a production racing car in the world. We were the first to do it. We pioneered, and it just shows how capable the Jaguar I-PACE is. So it's something we're really proud of. And in addition to the technology transfer, it also was a fantastic platform to showcase not only Jaguar, but also a great range of other topics. So we had, for example, a huge amount of diversity and inclusion, including that championship. We had the first ever female driver to race in her home country in Saudi Arabia when Rima Jafali raced in Riyadh in the Jaguar I-PACE E-Trophy. And also Takuma Oki was the first ever disabled driver to race a battery electric racing car. So we're proud that it also became a platform for diversity and inclusion, as well as proving this electric vehicle technology, and most importantly, the capability of the I-PACE.
Okay, all right. And James, what do you think the future of the Formula E Championship is, and what do you think of perhaps the future of electric racing on the whole? What is the next big evolution or revolution that we're waiting for?
Yeah, well, that's exciting. The future is exciting. You can tell it's something I'm motivated by because racing has always evolved. It's always been at the forefront, and I'm passionate about the sport. And Formula E and electric racing is the future of motorsport. So I think as we look to the future, what is incredibly exciting is that Formula E is currently in what we call Generation 2, and we go to Generation 3 in Season 9. So we're in Season 7 now. So basically, 2 seasons' time, we go to what we call Generation 3, and that car becomes significantly faster. It becomes significantly lighter. So we go from a car which weighs around 903 kilos now down to around 790 kilograms in Generation 3. But importantly, we increase in power. So we go from 250 kilowatts to 350 kilowatts. Also, at the same time, we introduce front wheel regeneration. And actually, we on the back of the car, we can actually even lose the rear brake discs because of the technology that's going to be introduced on the car. So that again reduces the weight and just shows the capability of EV powertrain. That technology, those regulations will mean these cars will be incredibly fast at that point. And not only are we continuing to go faster in Formula E, but actually the cars are becoming even more efficient. And we're going to be introducing in Generation 3 of Formula E, basically fast charging. And the regulations are being decided right now. But one of the main topics for consumers around the world is charging. And we're going to use Formula E as a great showcase of just how fast you can charge your electric car. So that's incredibly exciting for the future. Faster, more exciting, fast charging will feature in the future generations of Formula E. And again, Formula E is proving to be a platform, a showcase of that electric vehicle technology. And I think we'll start to see overall a more proliferation of electric racing across other categories as well. But obviously Formula E being at the pinnacle of that.
Okay, all right. It does sound quite exciting. Thank you so much for sharing your insights about e-racing with us, James, and all the best for the upcoming season of electric racing.
Thank you so much. It's been great to be with you today.